There's a baseball statistic sitting in the 2025 MLB record books right now that most casual fans have not fully processed yet. Through 7 starts and 44 innings pitched, Shohei Ohtani is carrying an ERA of 0.82. Not 2.82, not 1.82, 0.82. Across the entire Major League Baseball, every rotation, every ace, every Cy Young contender, not a single starting pitcher has a lower earned run average than that number. And on a Wednesday night at Dodger Stadium, with his team's back against the wall after a 4-game losing streak, Ohtani walked to the mound against the San Francisco Giants and delivered the most dominant start of the 2025 season. That is not an opinion. That is what the box score says. The Los Angeles Dodgers entered that Wednesday night game carrying real weight. 4 consecutive losses had done exactly what losing streaks do to a fan base in a clubhouse. They create doubt. They slow momentum. They invite questions about whether a team is as good as advertised. The offense had been inconsistent. The energy around the team had shifted. And for a franchise with World Series expectations baked in from the moment spring training opens, a 4-game skid is not just a blip. It is a warning signal that demands a response. Ohtani gave them that response and then some. Before breaking down every detail of what he did that night, if you're new to this channel, Baseball Daily is on its way to its first 500 subscribers, and this community is being built around exactly this kind of daily, fact-driven baseball breakdown. Subscribe right now, hit the like button, and drop a comment below. It takes 10 seconds and it genuinely helps this channel grow. Now back to what happened at Dodger Stadium. 7 scoreless innings. The Giants, a lineup that came into this game with legitimate offensive weapons and playoff aspirations of their own, managed just 4 hits across those 7 frames, 8 strikeouts, 105 pitches thrown with precision and command that made San Francisco's hitters look completely lost. The final score was 4-0, and the margin does not fully capture how one-sided the night actually was. The Giants had 0 runs, 0 real threats, and 0 answers for what Ohtani was throwing. His ERA of 0.82 through 7 starts now leads all of Major League Baseball. To contextualize that number properly in the modern era of baseball, elite starting pitchers are celebrated when they finish a full season with an ERA under 3. A sub-2 ERA at season's end places you firmly in Cy Young Award territory. An ERA under 1 through any significant stretch of innings is the kind of number that gets circled in red and studied by opposing coaching staffs for weeks. Ohtani is not just leading the league. He is operating in a statistical category that almost does not exist at this level of competition. Dave Roberts, the Dodgers manager, made a calculated decision to rest Ohtani from the batting lineup for this particular game. That decision was not made out of caution about his pitching. It was made because Ohtani had hit his 7th home run of the 2025 season just the day before. He had already been contributing at an elite level with the bat. Roberts recognized that the pitching assignment alone was the priority for Wednesday, and he managed his most valuable asset accordingly. Roberts also confirmed after the game that Ohtani would be held out of Thursday's lineup against the Giants as well, giving him proper rest between efforts. This is the kind of roster management that separates well-run organizations from the rest. When you have a player performing at a historic level, you protect him. You do not push for extra at-bats the night before a major start. You do not ask him to do everything every single day. You build a structure around him that keeps him healthy, rested, and locked in, and then you let him do what he does. What Ohtani said after the game is worth paying close attention to, because it explains a great deal about why the numbers look the way they do. He stated that he's felt good on the mound so far, and acknowledged the results have been strong. But he also made a deliberate point of saying that the feeling can change from game to game, and he compared pitching consistency directly to the challenge of staying consistent at the plate, noting that maintaining that level is genuinely difficult. This is not false modesty. This is a player who has reached the top of the sport and still refuses to treat any start as guaranteed. That mindset is, without exaggeration, more threatening to opposing teams than the ERA number itself. A pitcher who stays humble, stays hungry, and continues working as if the results could change at any moment is a pitcher who is nearly impossible to prepare for. The moment elite athletes become comfortable with their numbers is usually the moment those numbers start to slip. Ohtani shows no signs of comfort. He shows every sign of continued focus. The 4-game losing streak is finished. The Dodgers ace stepped into the highest pressure moment of the young season and produced a shutout performance against a divisional rival. That is not luck. That is not coincidence. That is what a true franchise player looks like when the team needs him most. Shohei Ohtani in 2025 is not just the best two-way player in baseball history. He is, right now, the best pitcher in the sport by the most objective measure available. And yet the story of this week for the Los Angeles Dodgers does not begin and end with Ohtani on the mound. Because while the ace was shutting down the Giants, the front office was already working on something else entirely. Something that raised eyebrows around the league. Something that, when you understand the full context, tells you exactly how this organization thinks and why they consistently outperform expectations. The Dodgers acquired outfielder Alek Thomas from the Arizona Diamondbacks. If that name sounds familiar, it should. Alek Thomas is the same player who spent the 2023 postseason making life very difficult for teams trying to stop the Diamondbacks' October run. He hit 4 home runs in the 2023 playoffs, including a tying 2-run home run against the Philadelphia Phillies in Game 4 of the NLCS, a moment that directly extended Arizona's series. Dodgers fans watched him from the other side during that stretch, recognizing the damage he was capable of. That player now wears a Dodgers uniform. Arizona designated Thomas for assignment last week. The reason is straightforward. His 2025 numbers had not justified keeping him on an active roster. He was hitting .118 with 2 home runs and 10 RBI on the season. Those are numbers that force organizational decisions, and the Diamondbacks made theirs. They moved on, the Dodgers moved in. The cost of the acquisition was deliberately minimal. Los Angeles sent outfield prospect Jose Rea to Arizona in exchange for Thomas, and designated Michael Siani for assignment to clear the necessary spot on the 40-man roster. This trade did not cost the Dodgers a top prospect. It did not require a significant salary commitment. It did not deplete organizational depth in any meaningful way. It is the kind of move, low-cost, identifiable upside, controlled risk, that has become a defining characteristic of how this front office operates year after year. The conversation around Thomas starts with the bat being a question mark, and that is fair. A .118 batting average in 2025 is not a number that generates excitement, but the Dodgers are not acquiring him because of what his bat is doing right now. They are acquiring him because of what it could do, and because of what his glove is already doing at an elite level regardless of the offensive slump. Dave Roberts addressed the Thomas acquisition directly and with notable specificity. He described Thomas as a really good defender, really good kid, like the way he plays. When a manager uses that combination of language, praising both the player's character and his approach to the game, it signals more than just roster depth. Signals genuine organizational investment in the player as a person and as a developing talent. Roberts also confirmed that the coaching staff would conduct a deep dive into Thomas' swing to identify what adjustments can be made. That phrase, deep dive, is not casual language in a professional baseball context. It means film study. It means mechanical analysis. It means biomechanical evaluation of what has changed or broken down in his approach, and a structured plan to rebuild it. The Dodgers' player development infrastructure is one of the most respected in professional baseball. This is the same organization that has taken players discarded or undervalued by other franchises and turned them into meaningful contributors at the major league level. Thomas is not the first reclamation project to walk into Dodger Stadium, and the track record of those projects speaks for itself. His defined role on this roster, at least initially, is late-inning defensive replacement and pinch runner. That framing is important. The Dodgers are not putting Thomas in a position where his struggling bat is exposed in high-leverage offensive situations. They are using him where he has already proven he belongs, in the outfield, in late-game scenarios where defensive positioning and speed on the bases directly impact outcomes. That is smart player management, and it protects both the player and the team while the development work happens in the background. The defensive case for Thomas is not a consolation prize. It is a genuine asset. Elite outfield defense at the major league level is a skill that is relatively rare and consistently undervalued in public baseball conversation. In a playoff series, where a single defensive play in the 7th inning of a tie game can determine which team advances, having a legitimate defensive specialist available off the bench is meaningful. Thomas provides that reliably right now, regardless of where his bat is. His postseason experience deepens that value further. The 4 home runs in the 2023 playoffs are not just a statistical footnote. They are evidence of a player who performs when the environment is most intense. Postseason baseball is categorically different from the regular season. The crowds are louder, the preparation is more detailed, the pressure is amplified on every single pitch. Players who have already succeeded in that environment bring something into a clubhouse that cannot be taught in a batting cage. Thomas was drafted by Arizona in the 2nd round of the 2018 MLB draft and made his major league debut in 2022. He is still in the early years of his career, which means the developmental ceiling remains genuinely open. He has not yet reached the point in a player's career where the physical tools begin to decline. He is young enough that a mechanical correction to his swing could produce results that look dramatic, not incremental, and he is now inside the best development program available to him. The honest, fact-based evaluation of this acquisition breaks down simply. The floor of this trade is a premium late-inning defensive outfielder with elite speed and playoff experience, acquired for a marginal cost. That floor alone has real value on a roster building toward October. The ceiling of this trade is a player whose bat gets corrected by one of the best coaching staffs in baseball, who regains his form at the plate, and who becomes a legitimate multi-dimensional contributor during the most important games of the season. That ceiling is not guaranteed, but it is plausible, and the cost of reaching for it was almost nothing. There is no version of this trade where the Dodgers lose. Now take both developments from this week and examine what they say collectively about this organization. On the field, Shohei Ohtani delivers 7 scoreless innings, carries a league-best ERA of 0.82, and ends a 4-game losing streak against a divisional opponent. In the front office, the team identifies a low-cost acquisition with defensive value, postseason experience, and developmental upside, and executes the move cleanly without sacrificing meaningful organizational assets. These 2 things happened in the same week. One represents what this team already is. The other represents what this team is actively building toward. The Los Angeles Dodgers in 2025 are not a franchise managing a roster from week to week. They are not reacting to problems. They are operating with a structure built around winning the regular season and peaking in October. The Ohtani performance is the headline. The Thomas acquisition is the footnote that in a few months may turn out to be one of the smarter moves of the entire season. Small pieces matter in October. That is not speculation. It is the documented history of how championships are built. The rosters that win in the postseason are not just the ones with the best star players. They are the ones with the deepest benches, the most versatile defenders, and the players who have already been in those moments before. The Dodgers just added a piece that checks 2 of those 3 boxes, and he cost them almost nothing to get. This team is not done. It is not close to done. Every week produces new evidence that the front office and the coaching staff are aligned, focused, and executing a plan. Ohtani on the mound is the foundation. The moves happening around him are the walls going up. If this kind of fact-based, detail-driven baseball breakdown is what you want every day, subscribe to Baseball Daily right now. We are closing in on our first 500 subscribers, and every single person in this community is part of building something real here. Hit the like button, share this video with any Dodgers fan or baseball fan in your circle who needs to see it. And leave a comment below because this story has 2 real questions worth debating. Can the Dodgers coaching staff actually fix Alek Thomas' swing before October? And when Ohtani is this dominant on the mound, does any team in baseball genuinely have an answer for him in a playoff series? Drop your take, share this video. The conversation starts in the comments.